Today we're in Banff. Of course, we want to have a day trip, so we asked the owner where to go, and she recommended two places. First was, what was it, Mount?
So to go to Grassy Lakes, Mount Rundle, there was a beautiful walk there, she suggested.
And then after that, she suggested we go on to Lake Minnewanka. You've got to go there just for the namesake, even if you don't like it. Anyhow, we jumped in the car and off we went to Canmore. We're just above Canmore. Over on our left-hand side, we have an open lake. Well, a man-made lake. They have canoeing on, rafting. It's the Nautic Sports Centre. Look at this. It's just gorgeous. But I don't know if I'll be doing it today. It's quite interesting. The outside air temperature is, I don't know, 14 degrees at the moment. But the sun is so strong.
So it's Grassy Lakes Park to the left here.
Really good. Then we come down and we had lunch at, where did we have lunch?
Canmore, so we stopped in a little town underneath Canmore, which is, it's quite a nice little town actually. So we had lunch there, and then we motored over to Lake Minnewanka.
So at the moment, we're in the town of Canmore. It's a little town of about half an hour outside of Banff. I'd say a little town. It's actually bigger than Banff. It's more of a residential type of area where you get your groceries at a reasonable price. It's just stunning. So we went to Lake Minnewanka. That was quite nice. I mean, very scenic.
Quite beautiful, yes. And we saw some of those like mountain goats or mountain sheep. We saw some mountain sheep kind of by the side of the road and jumping around.
It's one of those places where it's one of those lakes that you could hire a little canoe and go out for 2 or 3 hours just for a little canoe. It's quite nice. Now the big chip, the secret chip. And when we were up watching the rock climbers, this Canadian local dude said to us, if you're tourists, do you want to see the wildlife? Do you want to see bears and
Elk, you want to see elk and
moose and all that? And I said, oh yeah, of course we do. I said, okay, I'm a golfer and I play golf on the course down at Banff. He said, go down to Banff just on sunset. So we hanged around Lake Minnewanka and then we went down to Banff right on sunset.
With the velvet and everything. I mean, it's pretty cool.
So how do we get there from?
So you just go to Banff.
Yep.
Then to go to Minnewanka Loop, you're going to Banff from Canmore, and instead of turning left to go into Banff, you turn right. And it's going to wind you all the way around.
Yep.
Back to Banff again. So then when you're going into Banff, you go towards the Banff Springs Hotel.
Yep.
But then it'll say Banff Springs Golf Course, which is below the Banff Springs is here. So you've got to sort of turn and go down to the Banff Springs.
Continue onward, but the Banff Springs Hotel is next.
Wow.
Wow, look at that. It's just impressive.
As the Castle of the Rockies. It opened its doors in 1888 with 250 rooms, and at the time was the largest hotel in North America outside of New York City. The hotel must have been an unusual and spectacular sight in the middle of the vast wilderness. We'll continue on and make a 180-degree turn at the roundabout that has a statue of William Cornelius Van Horn in the middle of it. He was the general manager of the Canadian Pacific Railway who built the hotel. If we want to get out and visit inside the hotel as non-registered guests, we can find parking by driving straight ahead through the roundabout. The hotel. Now, park the bus if it arrives, okay? The railway was built that went from coast to coast across Canada. They sometimes found themselves in beautiful places like Banff, which were previously unknown to Westerners. Van Horn, the statue guy back there, proclaimed that if we can't export the scenery, we'll have to import the tourists. Not sure if my impression was perfect, but anyway, with that, the tourism history of Banff began. The original hotel was mostly wood, and it actually burned to the ground in 1926, but it was rebuilt.
And it's just a 5-minute drive down. In fact, go look at the golf course. There could be out running on the.
Oh, really? Oh, thanks.
I mean, yeah, they're sometimes all over the place. But on that road, just to get there, it's only 5 minutes. It's in the bush, and that's people see them and get out of their cars and start running through the bush, which I wouldn't recommend.
No.
But I mean, they're often just on the road.
Okay.
That sounds great, doesn't it? That sounds great.
People that you just never know.
Deer, and it's just unbelievable. And on the next fairway, it's still a guy playing golf. It's just unbelievable.
Golf course is where it's at. Yeah.
Secret spot. It was just sensational. I mean, moose, trout. I mean,
Yeah, the elk were calling to one another. The males were kind of going trumpeting, and yeah, it was quite incredible.
it was a great day. I mean, I love the Rockies. I love Canada. That's all I've got to say about that. You got to say any more, darling?
No, it was a pretty awesome day.
You want to know where we are, don't you? This is Sydney Heads. It's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. This is where the famous boat race every year goes from Sydney to Hobart, big yacht race. And it's this spot here where they open up all their flotillas and the big sails and the big international boats just boogie down, and it's a sight to behold. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Here we are. This is Middlehead, Sydney. Beautiful.